The week off and awaiting the lowest remaining seed, 15-2. Detroit, despite all the injury and issue, not knocked off track in this one or many of them prior. 31-9 is your final. The Lions are your 1 seed. Let's get the guys in the mix. Ryan Wilson, Emery Hunt, Bryant McFadden, Joe Musa, your host, here to react to what we saw, at least on one side. Coming in, guys, the question might have been, can this Detroit squad on defense rally to slow down this high-powered Minnesota offense? And just goes to show, sometimes the story plays out a little bit differently. What did you take away from that defensive effort by Detroit, Emery?
Man, they were hitting Sam Darnold. I just thought they did a great job just playing aggressive. It's a mindset in Detroit. It's not predicated on who's out there on the field. It is predicated on whoever is on the team will go out there and be physical. And this defensive line that had a lot of moving parts around it got out there, got after the quarterback, put some hits on Sam Darnold, put some hits on the backs, made some game.
That cornerstone of a defense changed so much around it in your eyes. What'd you see schematically?
Levels, his energy is felt, and his just knowledge of the game. I mean, he's like the Roquan Smith for their defense. He understands pre-snap alignment, what opposing offenses are going to do. And Aaron Glenn, he was already talked about in terms of potential head coaching options, but he should be at the top of the list, right behind Ben Johnson, in my opinion, because of what he's done this season. He's been called to do more with less because of all the injuries. He hasn't made any excuses. He just went out and he has gotten his guys prepared as best as possible. In tonight's matchup, the difference was red zone efficiency or the lack thereof. Defensively, what he did was, if you watch Detroit the entire season, they've been known to be a team that do what? They put pressure on you in red zone opportunities. He was one step ahead of Kevin O'Connell. When Kevin thought he was bringing pressure, he gave them a pressure look, but he dropped everybody back and played spot coverage. And then when he thought they were going to bring play a zone type concept, he brought pressure. It was almost like he was in the head of Kevin O'Connell, and Kevin could not get him out of his head. And that was the difference, in my opinion, guys, with Detroit winning this ball game, because you look at the red zone opportunities in the first half. If Minnesota cashed in on at least one of those red zone opportunities and scored a touchdown, they would have snatched the momentum from the entire stadium. But because of how well they played in the red zone, that led to this outstanding win, especially in the second half by the Detroit Lions.
4 trips to the red zone, no touchdowns to show for it. A season-low 9-point output here by the Minnesota Vikings against a defense that was giving up north of 32 points per game in the month of December. We flipped the script, and maybe those ghosts returned for Sam Darnold. Didn't feel like he had his feet under him. Didn't feel like he was seeing it throughout the night, Mac. Offensively, we've come to expect things of Minnesota. We got none of them. How big of a concern on this night was it, and how big of a concern is it moving forward into playoff play?
You know what? Right now, it's not a big concern, because let's keep it real. Detroit has had some issues over the last few weeks, but they found ways to win the ball game, and they're still the best team, one of the best teams in the NFC, right? When you look at the Detroit Lions, the Philadelphia Eagles, depending on who you're asking. But in terms of Sam Darnold, I just feel like this was bigger than Sam Darnold, guys. This wasn't a Sam Darnold issue. They just were not prepared. They got outcoached, and because of them being outcoached, they got outplayed. If you look at the defensive mentality, clearly they had a game plan in place, right? Robertson was going to follow Justin Jefferson. No one thought that would happen. But what they did was they made sure they clouded Justin Jefferson in timely moments. And what they did when they were not clouding Justin Jefferson, the disguise concept was playing with Sam Darnold. It was unbelievable. I mean, it was an unbelievable coaching effort for Aaron Glenn, and that's why I'm not putting too much blame on Sam Darnold. It was just the lack of preparation showed up for 4 quarters.
Emery, do you share that opinion? I know we were upstairs watching this game, and there were some clean looks that Darnold did not get the ball to. There were some muddied looks that Mac's talking about that you could understand the confusion. Where are you at on Darnold's play on this night?
He struggled on third down. They were 3 out of 13 on third down. That ties directly to B-Mac's point of what you're seeing. If you're confident on third down, that ball is coming out quick. It's coming out to the right spot. And what also Detroit did rather well in that regard was stay active at the line of scrimmage. So not only Darnold had to figure out where to go with the football, but he was also cognizant of, man, I got to get this ball over the top, because they've been batting my balls in the middle of this passing play, knock them down at the line of scrimmage, which is, really hurt them often in this game. So that's all of that ties together, man. It was just a great defensive game plan. Front end helped out the back end and vice versa.
Final thought here, Ryan Wilson, as you look at what Minnesota now has to do moving forward. The grasshopper will try and take down the master, if you will, the pebble from the hand, as it's the McVay tree right in front of us, LA versus Minnesota. Do you think this is a one-off, an aberration, or do you think that this is a point of concern offensively?
I'm concerned, and I know B-Mac said it's not Sam Darnold's fault, but it's somebody's fault, whether it's the coaching staff or not. And to your point, the student's going back to the master. KOC is going back to Sean McVay, where he started his coaching career. And look, this defense has been banged up in Detroit. We talked about it. Braden Fisk, Jared Verse, Kobe Turner, Byron Young. If you can't block these guys up with Alex Anzalone coming back from injury, you may not have a chance next week, because Christian Darrisaw's been out for a time. Cam Robinson's given up more pressures than anyone on planet Earth. So you have a lot of things to fix in a short amount of time to fix it, and now you have to travel to L.A. and face a juiced-up offense and a juiced-up defense.
Jared Verse going to heat him up. He's been doing it all season long. We'll see how it plays out moving forward. You have a 1 seed, you have a 5 seed, and you have a playoff picture as the regular season is now complete in the NFL. Gentlemen, thank you. 272 of 272 was billed as something special. One team was special. The other going to be your 5 seed in the wild card. Not going to get the home game, not going to get the bye. They're going to get the Los Angeles Rams. Darnold making an NFL playoff debut and not coming in on the confident footing he took through this season.